tag Junior the counter. This is number 9 in the sequence. A straight counter. It's on the 4th icon. That's a little mark that we used to use as kids to count things. Well, when you touch the touchpad, the count clicks and goes up by 1. Pretty predictable. Okay. When you're finished counting, you can reset it back to 1 and start again. Because in knitting, when you see a number or you look at instructions, it's the row you're about to knit. So when they say decrease 14 stitches, then you know you're going to do that starting on row 1. Okay, so you would reset it to 1. When it's just a simple counter, and it will stay on for 10 minutes without the screen dimming or going into any mode where you have to reach over and slide something. It'll stay lit and be faithful to you for at least 10 minutes from your last touch. If you touch it, move it forward, it will then reset its timer and wait for 10 more minutes before it closes your screen to save your batteries. But the count will still be there. Anytime you have a count and you go to another function or you come back, it remains where it was. When you shut off your system and go to another function, come back, it still remembers where you are. All right, the counter goes up, you knit. But at times we get to certain rows on an item and we want to put a knitted, a fancy stitch pattern in. Usually involves sequences. Well, rather than program the whole thing at once, you can kind of do the hard ones as you wish. When you come, the hard ones to remember, you know, the ones that are a little harder. You click on the sequence. Now you have 1 of 1. That's your sequence. The length of the sequence comes up. You maneuver this thing. You see right now it's only showing 3, 4, and 5. But if you hit the upper arrow, it goes up. You can get it to any number you need to. And it doesn't have to be just the number that shows up when it goes back. It can be 28 and 29 also. That's a pretty long sequence, so let's bring that back down. You click on it with your finger. Okay, we have a sequence of 5, starting at row 21. Listen to the click. Now we're on the last of the sequence. We're ready for the 5th stitch of the sequence of 5. We hear a double click and it's done. All right, so we want to do it again. We do the sequence, do it a 5, and we can do it again. Well, you don't have to keep resetting that if you have multiple times to do the same sequence. What you do, click the sequence, put in your 5, but now you need to do it 3 times. Now let's see. Here the double, it was done with the first sequence. It double clicked again. Now we're on the last of the 3rd sequence, but we're on the 1st of 5. Now we're on the very last one of the, this will complete our 3rd time and it'll be our 3rd stitch perhaps. It gives you a little coded message like Morse code, and it switches back to the straight mode. The numbers are exactly correct. If this was your overall row counter that you were doing, it would keep you going up the line. It doesn't. The straight counter is a straight counter no matter. Every time you touch the touch button, the straight counter in the red area will go up by 1. The sequence counter is kind of mated to this, and so it does a sequence, shows you how the sequence runs, but then it butts out when it finished. And you can even set a sequence and you'll have to kind of gain this with experience. You can set a sequence of 7. You can do part of it, and if for some reason you realize that that wasn't what you needed, you have to put a couple more rows in and then continue with your sequence, it'll do that. If you're in sequence, it's going to affect these counters. If you're in straight, it won't. But probably for the most part, you'll just leave it in sequence and go up. I hope that's understandable. I hope it's somewhat intuitive for you to use, but the only way to tell is to give it a try. Thank you.